Start to let everyone in. Okay, I think we'll let Dr. Czerniecki.
Let him in first. So we have 3 minutes.
Well, we'll do it early.
There he is.
Oh, nice background. There we go.
Moffitt Cancer
Hey!
Center, yeah.
Hi, Gary.
And look, there's Gary. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. How you guys doing?
Can they hear it?
Gary, yeah, we want to talk to you too. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm going to start to let more people in. I'm going to let Ann in.
No, but
Hi,
when question comes, they should answer.
Hi, yeah, Ann. I mean, if you want to defer a question to Gary, you can. You know what I mean? I mean, there may be. I would like that actually for somebody to get.
But not only this, I think when Dr. Czerniecki's done, I mean, you know, it'd be awesome if Gary would add things to it because, you know, since we were all locked up all over the place, I think it'd be awesome to see that behind the scenes, all that stuff that was happening. Because you guys weren't locked away. It was just us.
Yeah, you were working. Okay, I'm going to start to let everybody in.
Did he go for you?
We're live here.
Your hair's so long.
Yeah, isn't that the longest I ever had? That's what happens when you're locked up.
Young.
There's somebody else.
Yes, this is Donna's daughter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
now
Team Rigby.
Yeah.
He's the one who got me started.
All right, here we go. Oh, your lab people there.
We see each other.
Dr. C.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, everybody can unmute right now. I mean, we're all talking for a couple minutes to say hello, you know, as everybody's coming in. Yeah. I think we have about oh, here comes Doris from the lab, Dr. C.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
If you can imagine.
Well, when my grandson.
Hi, how are you?
you?
I'm doing.
Hi, Dr. Czerniecki.
Good.
Hey, Noreen. Hi, Agnes.
Hello, how are you?
Carol, how you
Look at
doing?
you with the palm trees
Oh,
in the background.
Look at Dolores with the cow.
Oh my God, that's
pretty cool.
awesome.
Or with Doris, yes.
Hi, Gary.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good.
Hi, Carol.
Happy
to see you
belated
again.
Hi,
Thanksgiving.
Melissa.
Hi,
Hey.
Doris.
Doris.
Hi, Dr. Czerniecki. Wish we were down there where it's nice
Hi.
and warm.
It was
Yeah.
cold. It just warmed up today.
Oh, it was cold. It was 45 degrees. Everybody was complaining.
Jen! That's all you down there.
It was a little warmer here in, you know, Boca, but it's, you know, where are we now?
We're in Lake Worth.
Lake Worth. Okay, close.
Yeah.
Well, it's up to
So
7.
wait,
My
a
girlfriend
couple
came
more
in.
minutes.
How did you get the Pennies in Action sign behind you? How can I do that?
So if I email it to you quick, you might be able to do it. You have
I
to,
tried to do it. It wouldn't do it for me.
yeah, I had to walk Noreen through it,
Wait.
And it still won't work.
but I
You
can
have
send
to-
that. Would
Yeah, you
like
have to
that
go
for
under the
another time?
backgrounds and set your own background.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have basic, it doesn't work.
Right. That's
Oh,
what I
hi,
have.
Marlene. To meet you.
Sure.
Marlene, you're on mute.
Oh,
Yeah,
There's,
yeah. Everybody can unmute right now.
okay.
Hi, Jeanette.
Jeanette, you're here. You made it.
Right there. She's
Oh
in
no,
the middle.
Marlene.
Oh, Marlene. Oh, Camille.
exciting, I'm going to share next, is that this young man, this guy right here, you can see, he got out on his bike.
6 years old.
Yes. So we want to honor him tonight for our most encouraging fundraiser. I mean, this young man, how much did he raise, Donna? If you want to unmute yourself and tell us. I'll stop the screen share. We can go back and can we see?
Oh, sorry about that. The
No worries.
numbers are still coming in. He just received another donation of $80 on top of what he already earned. So let me see if I can.
Let's meet him. Have him pop his little. Is he there? So everybody can meet the star of the show, our most encouraging fundraiser.
6 years old. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it really, sort of, when you think about the next generation and you see this guy riding around his neighborhood with collecting cash, I mean, it can make you really get excited, like be most encouraged. I mean, he earned it. So thank you, Vincent.
He decorated his own bike. You did an awesome job, and I'm going to give you $50 to go towards your total. Okay.
Oh wow! Look at those eyes.
You have $50 more. Okay.
All right. So let's see. Let's go to Team Rigby. All right. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Follow me here. All right. So we have Team Rigby. All right. There's $376.48. So Donna, do we have a new total? Should I go for it? Do we get the other money?
I've got to send you more money in too. It's sitting on the counter.
Okay. So what is that? How much does
That's $80.
$80?
And then I've got a check for $50.
Okay, so it's another $130. So
No,
Oh,
Melissa,
and
you're
then she said 50. All right, so
$180.
is at 376.48, right?
And
376.48 plus 180, right? So 376.48 plus 180. So 556.48.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
There's still more going to come in.
Right? Look at that. Good job, Vincent.
Wait, what do you have? 556.48?
Yes.
Yep, because you got another 50 coming from Ushi, and there's a $50 check at the Rigby residence, and then another $80 in change, right?
So that's 180.
Go in the bank.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give him another 250.
Oh my God.
Who's that?
That's his Nana.
Oh, you're popping up there, Donna. Okay. Oh my
We'll
gosh.
take it.
250. 250 plus 556.48, right?
Yeah.
806.
806.
All right. Guess what, Team Rigby? I'm gonna top it off. So you're gonna have raised $1,000. I'm gonna give you so that's mine.
Look at his name. That's so cute.
All right. So $193.52, buddy. Okay. What do you think about them apples?
193.52.
Yeah. Write it down and I'll go in and post it. Okay.
You're gonna go. Okay, good.
All right. Team Rigby hits $1,000. Done.
Whoa.
All right, Donna, you're gonna remind me, right? She's good at that. She's good
I'll
at
remind
collections.
you too before I leave.
Yes,
here.
there you go. All right, kind of cooped up and really wanted to figure out what we could do while we were in quarantine. So I spent quite a few hours in March and into April making sure that Dr. Czerniecki and his team had what we came to know as PPE, personal protection equipment. So I spent a lot of time getting KN95 masks and face shields. And Dr. Czerniecki, I told the folks when I went to see them over the summer, I said that they were lucky that they worked for him because he wouldn't just let us outfit him with the gear. He said, I can't have this and not have it for my staff. So he made sure that, for 60 people, that we made sure that they had all the PPE, because you know their budget really didn't cover for, I mean, they have those surgical masks, they don't, you know, those places don't use PPE, and I think that was a hardship for everybody in the medical field, that they really didn't have that in their budgets. So that's some of what we did. And then another project we did was 4 educational videos. So we're going to start to share those with you in between announcing more winners like Mr. Vincent there. So thank you again, Vincent. You're an awesome young man. Keep up the good work. Okay, so here's our first video.
You've probably heard a lot lately about vaccines and how they are a great way to cure many diseases. In fact, the vaccine was first used in 1796. That's a long, long time ago. So now, here we are with a vaccine that works to defeat breast cancer. Yes, you heard correctly. Here's how it works. Normal healthy cells know when to grow and divide and when to rest. Cancer can be simply defined as a loss of control over cell division. Cancerous cells never rest but continually grow and divide, spreading throughout the body. They destroy the architecture of important organs and tissues, similar to weeds disrupting the organization of a garden and choking out the useful plants. Most breast cancers arise in the lactiferous ducts of the breast. These are small tubules that conduct milk from the mammary glands to the nipple. A normal lactiferous duct is an open tube whose walls are lined with a kind of cells called epithelial cells, which form a part of the duct's normal structure. Cancer develops slowly over time. The epithelial cells can accumulate mutations in their genetic material that slowly changes them and destroys their ability to rest, resulting in the beginning phases of uncontrollable growth. When they have changed enough, they grow and divide to the point where they begin to completely fill the lactiferous ducts. This is the earliest form of breast cancer, called ductal carcinoma in situ, or DCIS. It is also sometimes called stage 0 breast cancer. Eventually, the cells will penetrate the wall of the duct and begin growing in the surrounding breast tissue. This is invasive breast cancer. As the cancer spreads beyond the area around the duct, even to distant locations of the body, it has become metastatic breast cancer. As the cancer spreads, it becomes more and more difficult to treat, so it's best to identify cancer early and begin therapy as soon as possible. About a quarter to a third of breast cancers produce a protein called HER2. HER2 is considered a poor prognostic indicator, and women with HER2 breast cancer are more likely to be invasive, metastatic, and recur after standard treatments. In our next video, we'll take a look at how the immune system functions to see if it can be persuaded to fight against cancer.
Are going to be something that's available on our, well, it's already posted on our YouTube, so we like to encourage you to share that with other people, you know, once you've seen all 4 of these, and they're super short, a couple minutes a piece. We collaborated with Media Active, which you're familiar with our other videos that we've had over the years with Showers of Hope. So we're super excited that, you know, we were able to do that. Those people, you know, everybody was out of work, and so we sort of capitalized on that to do this project together. So we're very thankful that there was a lot of volunteer hours that went into that project, and we appreciate all of the crew over at Media Active. So our next, we have the endurance event where we logged minutes of our activity, and the idea was, you know, here we are with COVID locked up, and we wanted to get people moving again with purpose. And because we couldn't have Showers of Hope, we had been exploring trying to do something virtual. So we collaborated with a company called Rallybound. And so we made this site, and you guys, a lot of you have participated in it. And so we had someone log over 8,000 minutes of activity from the start, October 15th, to the end, November 30th. So I like to give you, yes, our own Ushi Kessler, big surprise there, right? So yes, so she had 8,331 minutes, top individual. She definitely, I think, would be walking like 4 hours a day. She
Over 10 miles a day.
Yeah, she definitely built her lungs up. Ushi had tuberculosis when she was 17, so she definitely did a lot to combat.
And today my feet hurt. I can really tell you that because it's about 10
Oh.
miles a day.
Yeah.
I did 823,183 steps.
Yes. So when she talks about taking the Olympic approach to something,
See, Gary, you would understand because you walked a lot. You know how many steps that is.
yeah. So you're in that.
Since I can't do anything like Melissa's doing here, but I can walk. So.
And so I had also, some of you know, I sort of try to run the team Patients in Action initiative that we have, getting us patients together to be active for this organization. And so I had to make sure that we had a decent amount of participation. So we won the most top team minutes with over 14,000. But if you can imagine here, like Ushi had over 8,000 as one person. So that was a pretty amazing feat there, that Ushi did. When you look at what we did as a team, I think we were a 3-person team. But
you should have done 24.
I know. It really makes it comes into light the Olympian that she is. And then our most determined fundraiser, I'm going to share the screen for that. So she's new to us. She even raised money while she had COVID. Marlene, thank you very much. You are our most determined fundraiser. I think there's a picture of you like somewhere floating around. You were raising money while we were all, going through this pandemic. I mean, it was really incredible. I really thank you for all your efforts, and thank you for becoming a crusader of our mission. You really,
It's awesome.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to say something. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to unmute yourself. Here, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Yeah, so we can hear you. Can you unmute? I think, there we go.
I did it, sweetheart.
Is that true that you were raising money while you had COVID?
Yes, I did. I was doing my Zumba and I was doing well. And then I started getting tired and I wasn't myself. And well, I took a test, found out I had COVID, and thank God I beat the beast and I recovered very well. So
yeah, thank you.
That didn't stop me from sitting on the computer and re-emailing my family and my friends. And so we did pretty well.
Yeah, you did.
Awesome.
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really, I mean, that's the go-getter spirit. Never say never give up.
Well, I get my determination from my good friend Donna.
There you go. She is a good example of that. If it wasn't for her, she told us about Rallybond. We had been looking at all these different softwares over the summer and nothing was really clicking. And she's like, you got to see this. I just did this and I think this would work out great. So we had quite a few meetings with them and we were comfortable and we jumped in, and I love working with Donna.
Well, she kicked our butt because she kept saying we are falling asleep.
Yeah, we got to get going and do something.
She kept saying that the whole time. You better do
She's
something.
a great salesperson. She gets people to do things.
I know.
know.
It was awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank
All right. You're welcome. Yes, we're going to go ahead with the next video. And I hope.
Can our immune system be persuaded to fight cancer? In order to answer this question, let's talk about how it protects us from bacteria and viruses. The immune system is composed of white blood cells, of which there are many types, each with their own unique roles in identifying and destroying outside invaders. But for the sake of simplicity, let us reduce the immune system to only 2 kinds of cells. One of these is called a dendritic cell, the other called a T cell. To use a military analogy, dendritic cells are like the recon scouts, while T cells are like the fighting generals of the immune system. Dendritic cells stand watch throughout the body and can sense chemical differences between self cells and outside microbial invaders. When they sense these differences, they actively collect unique proteins from these threats and decorate their own surfaces with the intruder's personal proteins. The dendritic cells then travel to areas of the body called the lymph nodes. Here, they present or show the invader's proteins to the T cells, which then divide rapidly, forming a disease-fighting army, which then leaves the lymph nodes to go on a search and destroy mission. Clearly, our immune system is a powerful force, but can it be persuaded to fight cancer the way it fights bacteria and viruses? Check out our next video to find out.
Can't you wait for the next video? I'm excited as a patient when you can really have something like this to share with people and make it simple and help them understand what is actually happening. You know, as a patient, when you're diagnosed, you're so fearful, and to be able to share with them these 4 videos that you're going to see, it's really something that reduces the fear. And I think that is so super important, to take the fear out of it for a patient. So that's what really makes me excited about this project. So on to our top individual fundraiser. So I think he could not be with us tonight.
He might come later because he had
Yes.
to go to
So yes. So he sent us a note, and I'm gonna share who this person is. So for those of you who may not know, that's a name that a lot of us know. Daniel Amoroso owns Amoroso Bread. If you're up in that area where his bread's available, hardworking man. And if not for him and his family, yeah, the research, he kept it open when we didn't have the funding that we needed to sort of be a bridge. And I really feel like that family helped save my life. There was a lot of times when we were skinny on the funding, and they stepped up and really helped everything keep going. And so we owe a lot to, and right, Dr. Czerniecki will attest to that, I'm sure. And so he's our top individual fundraiser, and we're very thankful for him. So he wrote to us that he just wanted to say thank you to all the people that donated to the fundraiser, and a special thanks to Ushi, Melissa, and Donna, and everyone involved with making this happen during a crisis. And he realizes there's a lot behind the scenes of the hard work to make it happen. And he has a little bit more that I'm going to share, because he also, hold on, his team also is the top fundraising team. And Edwina was his wife. She believed in this research so much that she made Ushi promise. She's not with us anymore, and she made Ushi promise to continue to help with this research. So, because she believed in it and believed that it was going to remove the threat of cancer. So we sort of think of Edwina as our guardian angel.
This is Nancy Ash, Amoroso Ash, and my brother wrote me and asked me to tell everyone who donated to Edwina's memory, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Sorry, he could not participate tonight.
Yeah, he was telling us then last minute. But I mean, it's just, you know,
tell us about, because you knew, like, what you want to share a little something about Edwina for the people that didn't know her.
Well, she liked to dance, and she was just a beautiful woman, and she never complained when she had suffered with her cancer. She always had a chance to smile and appreciate anything people would do for her. And she was a beautiful woman and mother.
Yeah,
and wife. Yeah,
yeah. So, thank you so much.
we missed her. Yes, very much. Yes.
We have a new total.
We do.
Are you ready for this?
Okay, hold on.
68,500.
What? Oh my gosh, here, I have to share the screen because I had the old one. Okay, hold on. Late breaking news.
And Vincent, the person who gave him 50 had decided to give him 193, so he went up. I'm not sure where the other 50 was, so I didn't want to add it on to mix things up. So he's
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. So here.
over his goal of
Wait,
it
let me
down.
find let me here. Okay, so we were at 62,754 before we started, right?
Yep.
Everybody
Refresh
can see that?
browser.
Okay, watch this. Watch this. All right. 60, well, it was worth coming on, huh? 68,521. That's enough for over 2 patients. And some lab supplies.
Ann Warlow, is that? Am I
Ann,
yes.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
Is she still on here?
Yep, she's right here.
Oh, there you are.
Hi,
Right
Ann.
below us.
And we also received a donation from Marlene, $50.
Oh,
Right,
thank
Marlene,
you.
you mailed in a check.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
All right. That's excellent. Okay, so let's share this next video. See the last final one here.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Okay.
This is how we persuade the immune system to fight cancer. We exploit the natural properties of dendritic cells to make a kind of vaccine-like immunotherapy against early breast cancer. To accomplish this, we remove the white cells from the blood of a patient with DCIS and through a special procedure, isolate the dendritic cells. We culture the cells overnight in a nutrient medium that contains conditions favorable for dendritic cell function. Then we add 2 things to the dendritic cells. First, we add some of the very chemical signals dendritic cells use to identify foreign microbial invaders. Then we add a synthetic version of the HER2 breast cancer protein. HER2 is a naturally occurring protein in the body, which is greatly overproduced by some breast cancers, marking them as abnormal. These conditions fool the dendritic cell into behaving as though it has discovered a dangerous microbial infection. These cells become highly activated and decorate their surface with pieces of the synthetic HER2 protein, just as it would have done with proteins from a microbial invader. After this has been accomplished, the dendritic cells are collected and injected back into the body of the cancer patient. The dendritic cells seek out T cells just as they would during a microbial infection, but this time they are showing the T cells a protein that marks a breast cancer cell rather than a bacterium or a virus. Nonetheless, the T cells behave identically, multiplying into an army of cells that will go on a search and destroy mission against anything bearing the HER2 protein, namely the breast cancer. So anywhere the breast cancer cells reside, the T cells will seek them out and attempt to destroy them. After years of work, research, development, and patient trials, this approach to fighting cancer is really paying off. In our next video, we'll take a look at the evidence that yes, our immune system can be successfully enlisted in the fight against cancer.
After years of hard work, research and development, and patient trials, it appears that yes, our immune system can be successfully enlisted in the fight against cancer. Here are some photographs of microscope slides from a thin section of breast tissue from an early HER2 breast cancer vaccine recipient. The slides are stained to reveal the presence of T cells. The first slide is from a biopsy taken before the vaccine was administered. You can see in cross-section a lactiferous duct that contains the growing tumor cells. Surrounding the duct is a light scattering of brown staining T cells resident in the breast tissues. The second slide is from diseased breast tissue sampled after vaccination. It is apparent that after vaccination there is a massive influx of T cells that congregate around the tumor cells growing in the duct, showing the effect of the vaccine. Since 2004, we have provided this dendritic cell immunotherapy to over 200 patients with HER2 breast cancer. With this treatment, many patients have had their tumor disappear. Not only that, this same approach should be effective against most solid tumor cancers. All we have to do is change the target. A lot of preliminary research has already been done to prove that point. As always, funding is the fuel needed to make this immunorestoration therapy widely available to those with cancer who are in need. We look forward to bringing you more exciting news for a life without cancer. To find out how you can help, please visit the website on the screen.
So anybody want to chime back?
Oh, I'll just add, I really think those videos are fantastic. I mean, you guys really did a great job on those. They explain the situation very well, and the graphics are fabulous. I think it's just, I think
Well,
they're
you were a big part of this being as good as it is because you gave the verbal information to our people. So you were key, and you know what you said. So thank you, because you know that they were able to take what you said and actually make it into graphics was really a huge feat in my opinion. And you know, we're very thankful for you, Gary, that you can communicate to us in layman's terms where our head and our brains don't feel like they're gonna pop off of our bodies.
But so it hit the mark then, Gary?
I think it did. I think it turned out better than I ever could possibly have imagined.
Because I think it'd be awesome for everybody to send it out, because they always want to know what is it Dr. Czerniecki does and why and how does it work. And I mean, it's so easy to watch this. And I think then they can formulate their questions that they want to know afterwards, I think.
Yeah, I think that this is a video that could be shown to patients before that are considering participating in a trial with this. So they get a simple understanding of what it is. And it would only take them 10 minutes or less to actually sit there.
You know what I think I'll do? I will email the link to this to Deanna, your project coordinator.
Yeah.
Would she be the good person to send it to?
Yeah, I think it would be useful for them to produce that for prospective patients. Personally, it's good for anybody that's been diagnosed with breast cancer, just to see where it starts, what it does, how it. I think they were great.
But I think it'd be also great because then the patient can formulate questions before you even see them. Because, you know, because normally you walk in, I mean, I've been with you with so many patients, and even with myself, you just don't even know what to ask for. You're just kind of shocked. You have no clue what's in. So with this way, you're already a little bit ahead of the game. That's great.
This is my first introduction to these videos. I didn't work on it at all. And I found them to be very simple. You know, it broke down the major difficult things so that it's easily understandable for a lay person. Yeah. And it got a lot of information across very well.
Excellent. Excellent. Good, Agnes. Thank you.
But I think it'd be really awesome if you guys send it out, because that creates the awareness that we really want. And I think when we go back to school, you know, Noreen, because the kids will really understand that, but because I think any kid will understand.
It would be great for.
Who was the young woman that was doing the explanation?
Those are both Michael Bornasian of Media Active. Those are his daughters, and which was great because, you know, we're all cooped up, right? And, you know, to have other people. So, and one, Emily,
the older one, works with us. She's now a clinical trials coordinator
at Moffitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Michael's making trips down to Florida.
Well, they actually migrated.
I think she made that video before she was.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, yeah. That was made, I think, maybe in April.
Yeah, right before she came down. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm so glad you guys like it, because I think they turned out awesome.
So you want to go ahead and
decided that we could do this, because I was so disappointed, because like I said, when it comes to computer and virtual anything, I'm like a no show. I have no clue how it works. And I'm so amazed when people can do it. So then when Donna started this, and then Donna and Melissa did such an amazing job to put this together, and I'm just in awe. Like I said, I don't even know which button to push. And whenever I have a file, it disappears into somewhere in cyberspace. But so I just wanted to say that I was so disappointed that we couldn't have the Edwina Amorosa Showers of Hope 2020. And we were so looking forward to. And I just want everybody to know that we didn't cancel it. We have our money down for Showers of Hope 2021. And the date will be announced depending, so we don't have to change it because depending what's going to happen. So it's not going to be canceled, and it's just going to be postponed. And the one thing, you know, what was really sad, that so many people were scared because of COVID, and they really didn't have their mammograms and didn't have their testing. And I was one of them. And Dr. Czerniecki knows I was scared out of my wits because I was late. And thank God 3 weeks ago, Melissa took me over we drove from the east to the west coast, and thank God everything was fine. But I was scared, and I was very lucky.
Her blood pressure was through the roof.
It was through the roof.
Good thing she walks.
She thought she's going to have to, you know,
I thought she, yeah.
they thought we're going to, she wanted to go to the
out.
bathroom with me, but no, I said, no, I'm fine. But anyway, so some of them were not that lucky, and we just want to make sure. And see, COVID, cancer doesn't stop because of COVID. Neither does Dr. Czerniecki and Dr. Koski. They haven't stopped either. And I am so proud of them. And because of Dr. Czerniecki, that's why Pennies in Action exists. And for 15 years, we have been so proud to support these guys in what they have been doing. They've always under-promised and over-delivered. And now, with further ado, I want Dr. Czerniecki to tell you what he was up to, and then hopefully Gary Koski can also tell you what they were up to while all of us were locked up. They were really moving forward, and cancer doesn't stand a chance to them. So Dr. C.
So, yeah, thanks, Sushi. So we kept pushing forward during COVID. It's interesting that one of the proteins that the CD4 cells make, called interferon gamma, actually would repel or knock off the COVID virus. So people that get vaccinated against that right at the time they get it, or for a couple days when their immune system gets activated from the vaccine, are actually protected against COVID at that time too.
I can confer. I was exposed to my brother and sister-in-law, right, because they live in Tampa, and that's where I go and stay. And I was exposed. They both had COVID, and I never got it.
Yeah, I had another patient that everybody in her family had it, and she had gotten the vaccine right when they were getting it, or they were pre-symptomatic, and she never developed it. And she was convinced that it was because she got the vaccine because everybody in her house developed it.
That's pretty amazing.
But yeah, the gamma interferon that they make is preventing that. And then somebody in our lab is actually working on and another collaborating lab has developed the antibody tests for COVID that we can run on the serum that people give when they come in to get their immune system checked. And we're taking that CD4 assay against the COVID spike protein to see if people have an immune response to CD4 cell against the COVID protein. We're trying to develop that right now as part of the test that we do, like we do for her too. So so that's the COVID story, but what were we doing beside the COVID? So you heard about the HER2. So we developed a few new vaccines since last spring. One of them that works against the ER receptor, and one that works against triple negative breast cancer. So we have two brand new ones that are about to be launched. One of them, the triple negative one, is going to be combined with the HER2 for people that have brain metastasis. And we developed that in conjunction with another scientist at Roswell Park. And that trial should be open next month at Roswell Park and probably February at Moffitt, where patients who have either triple negative or HER2 positive breast cancer that have spread to the brain, which is a pretty bad thing to happen. We're going to be treating them with a combination vaccine that works against something that's on triple negative called HER3, which is a relative of HER2. And we have another one that's going for people that have spread to their spinal column or the CNS, what we call the central nervous system, the fluid around the brain, which is also very devastating. And that's also going in as a combination of the dendritic cells pulsed with HER2 protein, like you saw in the video, and its cousin HER3, because HER3 protein, it seems to be highly expressed on the cells if they go to the brain or the central nervous system. So those two are working, and we did this in mice. And when we combined the two, if we only gave a HER2 or we only gave a HER3, it never cured the mice. But if we alternated them and just 4 treatments, very low doses, it cured the mice of central nervous system tumors. In fact, the neuro-oncologist who did that couldn't believe that. He'd been working on this for 10 years with radiation and all kinds of chemotherapy drugs, and he could never cure one of these mice. And we were able to cure about 80% of them with just a couple of these shots going in the brain. So that's the basis of these 2 new trials. Beside that, we have a trial with the HER2 and HER3 for people with early triple negative breast cancer that we're going to be using prior to chemotherapy, because for triple negative, the only thing that we can give patients is chemo. And so we're driving the immune response first before they start chemotherapy. Then they get chemotherapy, and they're going to get chemotherapy with vaccines all the way through, because it restores their immune response and helps to go after the cancer, with the goal of that being the first one, but we will then eliminate the chemo as we move that forward. For the HER2 patients, we are starting a trial that's been approved to avoid chemotherapy, just using the cells alone and the anti-HER2 antibodies Herceptin and Perjeta. These are people who have larger tumors. We're going to treat them with just the cells and the antibodies that they normally get for 6 weeks before they would get chemo, so we can determine if they respond without even getting chemotherapy. But the chemotherapy that they're going to get is a watered down version. So what Melissa got is, she could probably tell you, is pretty heavy dose stuff.
Yes.
We're only giving a mild chemo in this trial, weekly Taxol, and it's only being given because the medical oncologist insisted they needed something in case somebody had some residual disease. But we're doing an MRI first before they start the Taxol, so that we would know if they responded just to the therapy alone, because the next version, chemo will be gone completely. So that one's an exciting one. And then the newest one is for ER positives, because Ushi's been bugging me.
Yes, 15 years I'm waiting.
ER positive. So we have, we've discovered a series of little peptides like you saw for HER2 against the estrogen receptor. Now, it turns out that a lot of people become resistant. You take anti-estrogen pills for years. Some people are taking it for 5, 10, 15 years.
8. I did 8.
But in people who have estrogen receptor tumors come back, especially if they're on anti-estrogen, it turns out their receptor learns to beat this by mutating itself. And so there's a couple of known mutations that people have found in the estrogen receptor that help it become resistant and become sort of self-proliferating on its own without even needing estrogen. And they're standard from person to person. And so there's about 15 different mutations that happen, and it's only in one little peptide in each of those people. And so we made a synthetic version of each of those mutations, and then we showed them to healthy people's immune response. And wouldn't you know that their immune response recognized that one change in the peptide of the receptor and creates an immune response against that. So we are creating for people who have metastatic ER positive breast cancer, who really have not all the therapies that they really should. We're developing an immune therapy, which is a combination of the dendritic cells, plus we're going to grow up their T cells and give them back against these mutations. So we have that. And then for the early people, because they don't have, most of them don't have the mutations yet, we have a combination to give with either anti-estrogen or chemo up front to try to eliminate their tumors when they first get them, instead of waiting until they become metastatic. So those are all the trials we've done since COVID started in April. So we've been pretty busy, and we're going to be busier since. One of the ones we had to, we redid, we had open with the Department of Defense. We're now about halfway through a trial where we're preventing recurrence in people who have HER2 breast cancer. So there were 17 or 18 patients who got vaccines that had residual cancer. There's a few of them that I saw on the call here. Melissa was one of them, but those 18 patients, believe it or not, none of them have had a problem, even though their risk of recurrence is much higher than the average person walking around. And so we've now done, I think we've enrolled around the country close to 50 patients, and multiple centers are now actually doing, it's either one of two vaccines. So we're halfway to the completion of that, and the patients are doing really well, considering their pretty high risk for recurrence. The other one we're doing actually right now is we're giving those same shots that you saw in the videos directly into the tumors in the breast when somebody's first diagnosed. And even without any chemo, before they, just when they get those shots, we're seeing the tumors start shrinking already. And people come back in and say, my tumor feels like it's getting smaller. And we're only giving a couple before they start chemo. But we've seen a dramatic change in their immune response in their blood, which appears to be forcing the tumor cell or the lymphocytes to go into the tumor better. So they're circulating around the periphery, but the tumor's putting up a force field. But if we put the dendritic cells in the tumor, it breaks down the force field, and the lymphocytes go in there much easier. So that trial is actually going, and I think we have almost 10 of the 18 patients that are allowed to do that. And we've actually seen that their immune response in their blood is moving down, and it's not because it's going away, it's because it's moving in the tumor quicker.
That's amazing.
So I think that summarizes everything we've been doing since March.
Can I just say something? I mean, just for us that have been involved with you for 15 years now, I mean, it's the most amazing thing of fundraising that I think anybody has ever done, to see what's done with the money. You know what I mean? When you think if relatively small amounts of money that you guys have been working with, it's just amazing. So I'm just hoping that you guys will send some of our videos to everybody. We had about 100 and how many?
157 people participated in our Cure Within
in this
Crusade.
cure. So we want to make sure that they send it out, and that we, for the end of the year giving, you know, for tax-free giving, that which will still count to this event. So if we can make sure that we can get that out there, because, you know, these guys spending the money the right way, because, you know, everything goes to what's benefiting the patient.
And
thank you so much.
Yes, I'm going to share this, and then Dr. Czerniecki, while I'm sharing this, if you could, I'm going to ask you a question, because I think it's important for our people to know where to go. So on our website, under Dr. Brian Czerniecki and active trials, we have all the trials listed. They have clinical trial numbers. These are Moffitt numbers, if you could see my arrow here. So and then he has some other non-vaccine related trials. And we try to keep this updated, but what I thought was important for us to know, to be able to share with the people that we come in contact with is, I have the Department of Defense trials now listed here. That's some of Dr. Czerniecki's, Doris is with us tonight, and then.
Yeah, so those guys, go back to that picture. So those guys, none of this would happen without them. So Gia, who had to go back to China, he just actually this week got a paper accepted into a fairly big journal about how the immune cells make this interferon that causes the cancer cells to go into permanent sleep mode. Amber here is actually going to transfer. She's leaving our lab and she's going in to manufacture so she's taking a Liz role in the manufacturing.
Which one is she?
Amber right here in the middle.
Okay, yeah, I can't see so right here where I have my arrow?
Yes, where your arrow is.
Okay.
And Doris, you're seeing back here.
Yeah, this is Doris.
Doris keeps the whole ship.
Yeah.
The whole ship afloat. And in fact, I think I just saw Doris tonight. They're because of the increase in COVID cases, they're reverting again. These guys have had to do like shift work in the lab, so they're not all there at the same time. So some of them are coming in really early, some of them are coming in later in the evening. It's been like helter skelter for the last 8 months. And finally, they had just gotten all back together almost, and now they're going to separate again.
Crazy.
Yeah, but when you think of, all this, that was the headwind you guys had, and you still did so much stuff.
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
it is incredible.
It's amazing.
So what I wanted to know is that these are where the trials are being conducted. All right, Emory University, Ohio State University, Indiana, Roswell Park, which is in Buffalo, New York, Rutgers University. We have a large contingent in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, so that's closer to you guys.
Rutgers actually just got on their first patient because we had to have a whole big thing with lawyers this week. Somebody who is really wanting to get the vaccine is getting her pheresis next Tuesday, and we're actually going to be shipping and producing their first vaccine for them. So they just got on board and they're doing, and then University of Washington's been on for a while. Ohio State, Roswell, and Indiana have done a bunch.
Okay, awesome. So I have the contact information here. You just push this arrow over and it takes you through all the contact people at each of those locations. And are you saying to me that they're going to be having other trials, or they're basically it's this one Department of Defense trial for right now?
No, for right now it's that one, but I have other ones with Roswell, the brain ones that we'll have open at both Moffitt and Roswell.
Okay, so we'll need to get that information for me to get that updated.
And some of these other ones may get opened at a couple of these sites.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to be after you to make sure you get us that information so we can post it here. And then Deanna Hogue is the contact at Moffitt. She's the project coordinator that I've been in contact with. I feel like she's done a really decent job keeping me informed as a patient and, keeping my appointments. Just super quick. I didn't qualify back in 2010, for the vaccine. My cancer was too far advanced. Dr. Czerniecki at that point in time, I asked him to make a science project out of me, but he wouldn't do it because he didn't know what he had at that point, and he wanted to make sure, I was still here. So that's what I love about this guy. So then flash forward, he was so successful, and I knew that HER2, high probability of recurrence. So I said, I want to get this. I knew when I first heard it, when I met Ushi in May of 2010, like, this is why this happened to me, and I want this. So then it was so successful. So then I got the initial treatment, the 6 shots over 6 weeks and the 3 booster shots. You know, I had 17 treatments of Herceptin, which is to a targeted therapy against HER2, and it leaves your body. It doesn't stay there. And so when they would do my immune response tests, I was at a 0, like full open for reoccurrence. So after the immunotherapy treatments, over time, I went back to the level of someone who never had HER2 cancer. So then flash forward another, you know, to 2020, and, you know, we're all getting older. My immune system wasn't responding like it had been. So thankful to Pennies in Action, they funded this trial to monitor us patients to make sure that we still had an immune response. So, and Ushi fought for that for 3 years to get that trial open. And thank God, because I had my pheresis done right before COVID craziness. So I had my white blood cells harvested, and then I managed to get my, I've had additional 3 booster shots, and my immune system is responding again, moving back to normal levels. So for me, obviously, I am super thankful for Pennies in Action and Dr. Czerniecki and all the work that Dr. Kosti does with he's over at Kent State University, for some of you who might not know, with Dr. Laurel Showalter and Ariel and other lab members. I made a funny post with Dr. Showalter that she's a real live Captain Marvel. She sort of looks like her. So please check out our YouTube. There's a great videos that we keep adding there. We're really building our YouTube channel at Pennies in Action. And you can find that link on our website also. But I wanted to hold this to an hour. So
I just want to hear from Dr. Koski what you guys did while you were locked up, and also what you will need. Because the big thing is that I think most of you have been with us for a long time, and you know that funding is, if we don't have funding, it doesn't move forward. And what we at Pennies in Action are doing is the beginning when the funding isn't available yet. So we are kind of a bridge program all the time to keep the endless flow going with the research. So Gary, if you could just please bring us up to speed a little bit.
Okay, I'll try.
Sorry, I didn't ask you that earlier.
That's okay. Well, the thing, I'm currently working with Brian on the DoD grant. Those clinical trials he described. There's also a kind of a science component to that too that I've been doing, where we're trying to look for combinations of the Dendrixel vaccine therapy with certain small molecule inhibitor drugs, things that wouldn't be as nasty as chemotherapy, that could, you know, kind of leverage the effectiveness of the vaccine. And we've got a few papers published in the last a year or so, and I won't go through all of that. I'll just add that 2 of the real important discoveries that Brian has made that he's kind of alluded to is, first, he's bringing on all these other antigens besides HER2 online, HER3 and the estrogen receptor peptides. And also he's managed to actually work out all the bugs on an idea we had like way back in 2008, I think, about giving the Dendrixel straight into the tumor. The first time we tried that, it wasn't working very well, but I think we kind of figured out we weren't using enough dendritic cells. So he's got that problem solved. And the thing I want to point out is this opens up a whole new categories and lines of directions that we can take this, because if we've got more target antigens, we can start moving outside of breast cancer. Okay, because when you look at the combination of HER2 and HER3, now not only can we start looking at triple negative breast cancer, we can start looking at other carcinomas, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, bladder cancer, stomach cancer, colorectal cancer, etc. And one of the things I've been trying to do is sort of position us to start, at least in mouse models and in some preclinical work, to look at these other tumor types. We've actually been trying to do this for a while. A few years back, Brian McDivitt was kind enough to give us some seed money, about $25,000, to start looking at pancreatic cancer. And that was something that Lori was spearheading. And one of the frustrations we've had with this COVID situation is that Lori had written up a really, really nice grant that we were going to submit to the American Cancer Society. And I was going to try to get Lori her own independent money. Unfortunately, because of COVID, the American Cancer Society was bringing in so little money, they stopped giving out grants, you know, and that was really kind of devastating towards us, because she really brought forward this project all on her own, and she really had a strong grant proposal, and that's kind of too bad. Excuse me?
How much did she need?
Oh, I mean, no, she was applying for money that would be like you know, like $160,000 a year for 4 years. I mean, a lot of money we were hoping to get from American Cancer Society. You know, but she got where she's going just with $25,000. I mean, she really did a nice job. But we're positioned to possibly be looking into pancreatic cancer. Another thing that I wanted to get into too, when I was hoping to maybe get a little bit of a small amount of funds from you guys, was to start looking at head and neck cancer. Okay, wow. Because that's another thing where HER2 and HER3 would make good target antigens. And another thing too, it would really play into this idea of injecting the dendritic cells straight into the tumor, because not all tumor types are going to be easily anatomically accessible to be able to inject that in. But head and neck cancer, you know, it's like, you know, throat cancer, tongue cancer, all the things that happen in the head and neck, those are accessible. And that would be a really great application for this new way of giving vaccines. So one of the things I wanted to do was to purchase a number of human head and neck cancer lines, a mouse line as well, so we can start doing some mouse models and develop preclinical data and preliminary data to, you know, then apply for federal funding.
And how much are those peptides? They're peptides.
Well, I would need some peptides and also to purchase some cell lines from the American Type Culture Collection. It's like a tissue bank that supplies cancer cell lines to people. It costs money though; they don't give it out.
Yeah. Well, how much?
Well, for a set of 6 head and neck lines, it's going to be close to $2,000. And maybe for some peptides, maybe I'd have to do some. Might be another $1,500 for that or something like that.
So you're talking $3,500?
That would get us going.
I think you should call McDevitt.
Yeah,
I
think we can cover that just with the loans, what we're doing right now. And I think hopefully all you people out there, because pancreatic cancer, Ursula had pancreatic cancer, Melissa's dad had pancreatic cancer. We need to push that one. And so anyway, so if we can ask all our friends and let that make the thing, I mean, we can cover it with what we got, you know, in this thing. So definitely we want you to keep going on that. Don't you guys think so? Are you guys for it?
Yes, agreed.
Okay, see, Gary,
like
you
a
got
drop
your
in the
money.
bucket.
No, it's funny that a lot of the private foundations have stopped funding anything. Komen, American Cancer Society, is not giving out any grants for that's a lot of money that was lost this year. There's a decrease in almost every private foundation that there is.
But see, we're going to keep marching forward, because
that was you guys have always been good at stretching the pennies to make into dollars. I mean, you've always got you've been able to make so much happen with so little money, and that's what we've always appreciated from you.
It's amazing. Literally, you squeeze the penny to the point that it's flat. You know what I mean? Like it's those
machines,
right?
Right?
Machines. No, that's okay, Gary. So you can go back and say that you can keep moving forward on that. We'll make sure we cover that.
Can I ask
You know, she'll get on the phone with them and we get the model number and tell them about little guys like Vincent riding around and give us a deal.
That's right. That's right.
So many times she's gotten the model number, called up the manufacturer and said, and she got a better price for it than
But I always had to cry because it was the kids' lunch money. This time it's going to be great because I can say there's this little kid, 6 years old. He went around to collect. So you got to give us a deal. And they usually do, which is unbelievable.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Dr. Czerniecki or even Dr. Koski, as a patient, you offer the immunotherapy. So when I'm, God forbid, if I'm looking for a therapy, why would I pick your therapy opposed to anyone else's immunotherapy? Well, I would pick your therapy, but I'm saying as an outside person, why would they choose you? What would be the benefit to choosing you over another one?
So for most breast cancers, the choices of types of therapies are limited. So you either have anti-estrogen therapy or chemotherapies. When you get into the HER2s, you have some targeted antibodies, which are what I call immunotherapy anyway. So beyond that, in clinical trials, most of the things the drug companies make are either targeted therapies or some kind of therapy that works for a little while, but it doesn't necessarily pull the immune system in. And that's what kind of Gary was alluding to when he said he takes some simple molecules and he combines them with the immune therapy, because the immune therapy helps to finish the job. It's like taking an antibiotic. When you have a bacterial infection and you take an antibiotic, if you're immune suppressed, you have to take that antibiotic for a long time to get all the bacteria under control. The problem or the issue with most antibiotics in the average person, they only have to decrease it a little bit, and then your immune system finishes off. And so that's kind of what we're doing with this. We're like, you can get rid of or knock down the bulk of the tumor even with surgery, but then you got the little guys running around that are freeloading everywhere. And so your immune system is very good at targeting those. One of the other things we've been doing since COVID hit is we have some models where we have mice that develop these little tumors, and we can find these little cells in the brain and the lungs and the liver and the bone marrow. And when we administer those vaccines, we really hit those cells hard and they go away. Even if the primary tumor isn't going away, those cells get knocked off. They're very sensitive to the immune response. The one thing before I forget, the one thing that we have been doing also since COVID that Doris knows about too is we've been looking hard at the GI tract, because part of the problem of the immune system is sometimes the microbes in your GI tract aren't in the right condition, and chemo changes them and the tumor changes them. And so we did some experiments with mice that we were curing with immunotherapy, and we took transplants from their poop and gave them to other mice that had a tumor. And when we just gave that with our dendritic cells, we were able to cure those mice. Whereas if we gave them poop from just a normal mouse, nothing happened. So there is
probiotic, was it like a targeted probiotic?
Yeah, well, so we have to identify the bacteria that are the good guys in there. And hopefully the answer will be, we'll be able to either develop a nutritional diet or a probiotic that will be useful for prevention. So
for Donna, like, to further answer that question, I think that the track record of this immunotherapy, because it goes back, how many years? Well, yeah, you've been developing it for 20 years, right?
We've been giving it since 2004. October 2004 was the first
16 years of giving it to humans. that's a
Oh, I'm
way-
so.
I know you are, but I'm just giving you talking points for people, because there's other therapies out there, you know, there's CART, there's, you know, other immune therapy. I just don't
I
think.
was just asked another question. Can I ask one of the doctors this? So, they want to know, do you see any research developments being made on utilizing personalized medicines such as CAR-T in solid tumor cancers like MPNST? Anybody?
Yeah, so the whole personalized medicine thing is to target pathways that are activated in a certain cancer. Again, the issues with most of the targeted therapies is they only reduce it somewhat. The cells find another pathway to beat it. So most targeted therapies haven't really done that well as far as curing people, but they're if used with immune therapies, they may be more effective. As far as the CAR T cell, what you're talking about is creating a cell that does not exist in nature. So you're fusing an antibody with a T cell, and that cell doesn't really exist in nature. It works very well with lymphomas and leukemias because they all have the same receptor on them. So you could target that, but there's a lot of unwanted side effects from creating a cell that doesn't exist. So toxicity is a problem with those, but they do work in certain kind of lymphomas and leukemias, but they have not worked in solid tumors, the kind that we're talking about as of yet by themselves.
And we know our toxicity is very low, if any. I mean, there's, to me, I feel like it's no toxicity. But, you know, from my experience and my exposure over the years I've been involved with this, you know, no patient that I know of, you guys could better speak to that, has been toxic over the dendritic cell immunotherapy that you have.
Yeah, the safety profile for it is pretty low, pretty good for the years. We're using a natural immune response, not one that's created.
Right, exactly. Which, who knows what will happen with that later on. Is there any more questions? So we have a special video to end with. If there's isn't any more questions from Jessica Page, she has a nice message for us.
Hey guys, this is Jessica Page. I'm so happy to be part of this fundraiser and to be part of this wonderful cause that you guys are raising for, and so proud of all the work that you've done so far. Donna Young invited me on to share a very special song with you guys called Warrior. It's all about unleashing the warrior within, and I think it's absolutely appropriate for what we're fighting for. Hope you enjoy it. There she is, a little girl playing make-believe. Will she be an astronaut, a doctor, or a chief? She dresses up her Barbie dolls with makeup and a purse. Will she be a bodyguard or a registered nurse? She can be anything they told her, anything they said, and she believed them. They told her she's a warrior. She's a warrior. Warrior. And she's waiting to be unleashed. There she is, all grown up, sitting at her desk, wondering how calculus is gonna solve this mess. She fixes up her makeup at the back of the room, wondering when the boys will ever get the clue. Her childhood dreams, they start to dim. She's finding it harder to let the light in, and when you ask her who she wants
her shoulders 'cause she lost her individuality. She forgot that she's a warrior. She's a warrior. Warrior. And she's ready to be unleashed. She's a warrior, don't mess with her. She's got a fire that's igniting deep inside of her. She knows she's a goddess and the intuition king. Gotta straighten her crown 'cause she's the warrior queen. There she is, a woman, and she's facing the world. She's scared because the warrior has yet to be unfurled. She can't see that she's a goddess with an intuition keen. She's gotta straighten her crown 'cause she's the queen. She's a warrior. She's a warrior.
I'd like to end with, so you guys can see the site, and we're gonna keep this open.
Yeah, we're gonna for donations, we're gonna keep it open till the end of the year because there's gonna be the year-end donation, tax deductible, for the end of the year. So because we didn't have Showers of Hope this year, but we need the funding. As you can tell, our doctors, they are working their little hearts out for us, and we need to keep giving them the tools so they can do it. So do you want to finish with the video that we started with?
Yes. I think it's a good way to end everything.
Oh.
All right.
Melissa,
Yes.
before you put the video, I just would like to thank everybody who participated, all the teams, all the individuals. We couldn't have done it without you. Dr. Czerniecki, thank you so much for everything you do and for taking your time to come tonight. And same for you, Dr. Koski. We couldn't do it without you and your lab. Ushi Kessler for keeping this going. You are the force that keeps us all moving forward. And as a team, we can conquer anything. And I just want to say thank you to the 157 people who joined us with this. I'm sorry they all couldn't make it tonight. I hope they take a chance to watch this video on YouTube. But again, we can't thank you enough. And without your support, we have nothing. So for that, I say thank you. I applaud you and have a wonderful night. And hopefully 2021 blesses you with all great things. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
you for
you
your
so
support.
much, Donna. Without you, nothing would have happened because I was asleep during this year. And you really kicked us in the butt, which is awesome.
Donna, a lot of tabs to share, and want to thank everyone again. Donnie did a great job thanking everyone for attending. We learned a lot, and we're hoping to do many more of these over the next coming years, since this seems to be the world we're living in.
Go.
I would just like to say thank you. This is Doris from Dr. Czerniecki's lab. And I would just like to thank you all because your support of the lab is phenomenal. And we've been able to get some wonderful equipment that has allowed us to be extremely productive. And I want to thank you. It's much appreciated.
You're welcome, Doris. We got a good laugh over whatever it is that you needed for the mouse poop. How much was that piece of equipment?
35,000?
How much?
35?
Yeah.
I go big.
No, I
But
thought,
obviously important. I mean,
but I thought was funny when Dr. Zanicki said he needed a freezer for the poop.
oh,
Freezer.
yeah, is
The
that the
fridge,
freezer?
yeah, it was a poop freezer, yeah.
It has to be its own.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense. I wouldn't want anything else in mine. I mean, if that was what was in there.
And I want to thank Melissa because she's unbelievable. And also as a friend, she has been amazing with me. She has chauffeured me back and forth to Dr. Zanicki here in Florida. And she has done this, and the two of them, Donna and Melissa, unbelievable because
And Noreen too. Noreen helped us with the editing.
Yes, Noreen, our school teacher here. I mean,
Kept our English straight.
she
Yeah.
kept the English straight, but everybody, and Dr. Zanicki and Dr. Koski and Carol Gukoski, who has all her friends, you got so many of them involved. And Anne, oh my God, thank you so much. You have supported us for so many years. And I mean, well, Dan,
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, but it's just, I don't know if you were here when I said that we didn't cancel the Edwina Amoroso Showers of Hope. We just postponed it, and we already have our money down on the Showers of Hope 2021. So, but anyway, so thank you so much, Dan. You have helped us so much, and I found all kinds of pennies because every time I find a penny, it's Edwina throwing it in front.
I found a penny today sitting outside my car when I left work. So I guess she was saying hello to me.
I'm sure she does. She does it all the time. When even no matter where I walk, I found a penny in Dunkin' Donuts. There were two, but I didn't want to be greedy, so I threw the other one into their tip jar. People think that I was going to steal their money. But anyway, thank you guys so much. And Jeanette, and who else? I can't see who else is there.
Janet.
Janet, yeah. And Kathy.
Lisa.
We are so excited that you stuck with us and stick with us through this. And please tell everybody about it, and please share those videos, because the more people understand what the cancer does and how Dr. Zanicki and Dr. Koski can get rid of it, the more they're going to help us. And it's interesting when Dr. Zanicki said that right now all the other organizations, they are not giving much funding, because we have from day one have said we just got to keep this moving, even if it's just a little bit, because as soon as it stops and they lose their people, that's the end of it. Because you can't just start over again. It has to, these teams have to stick together. So again, thank you so much. And we'll do more of this, and we'll get better and better at it, because we are not spending much money at it. So it's amateurs. but so, and any ideas you guys have, please let us know. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all.
And Dan, I miss my hugs. Because I'm in Florida.
I'll send you one. I'll email it to you.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank
Good
you again,
night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
seeing you all.
Take care.
Take care.
And Gary will get in touch with you, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Happy
thank you.
holidays. Have a
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Be safe.
You
Thank
too.
you, you too.
Everybody be safe.